All right, today we're diving into something huge, a major leap forward in how we build powerful AI assistants. And this isn't just some small update, it's like a completely new playbook for the future of AI. So, Anthropic is painting this picture of a future where AI doesn't just give you answers, it actually does things. I mean, imagine an AI assistant in your code editor that doesn't just write code, but also handles the version control and deploys it for you. Or think about an AI that can coordinate between Slack, Jira, and a dozen other apps to fix a complicated problem all by itself. That's the dream, right? But, of course, there's a catch. To get to that amazing future, developers have been slamming into some pretty major roadblocks. It turns out, giving an AI access to hundreds of different tools is way, way harder than it sounds. And really, it all comes down to three big bottlenecks that have been holding everything back. Let's dig in and break them down. So first up, you've got the memory problem. You see, AIs have a limited working memory, and if you just keep giving them more and more tools, you can completely overwhelm them before they even get started. It's kind of like that classic problem of just too much information. Okay, so to really get this, we have to talk about something called the context window. The absolute best way to picture it is like an AI's workbench. Every single tool, every instruction, all the data for the job at hand, it all has to fit right there on that bench. And if the bench gets too cluttered, the AI just can't work. And you gotta understand, that workbench gets cluttered fast. I mean, just loading the instruction manuals for a bunch of tools can eat up over 72,000 tokens. You can think of tokens as tiny pieces of information. That's a massive chunk of the AI's brain power gone before you've even asked it to do anything. Next up, we've got the efficiency problem. The way AIs used to use tools is just incredibly slow and clunky. It's less like a skilled craftsman and more like someone who has to stop and have a full-blown conversation for every single step. I mean, look at this process. It's just painful. The AI asks for a tool. The system runs it. Then it dumps all of the raw, messy data back onto the AI's workbench. The AI then has to stop everything, read through all that junk, just to figure out what to do next. It's this constant, slow back and forth that just burns up time and memory. And finally, we get to maybe the trickiest one of all, the unwritten rules problem. See, a technical manual can tell an AI what a tool does, but it can't explain all the little customs and conventions of how people actually use it in the real world. You know, it's these tiny little details that cause the whole thing to fall apart. Does the date need to be in a specific format? Does that user ID need a prefix? The official docs almost never tell you this stuff. And if the AI gets it wrong, the tool just fails. The whole task grinds to a halt. Okay, so we've laid out the problems, the memory issue, the efficiency mess, the unwritten rules. Now, let's talk about the solution. Anthropic has just rolled out this revolutionary new toolkit with 3 features, each one precision-engineered to solve one of these exact problems. So here's the lineup. You've got the tool search tool for the memory problem. Then there's programmatic tool calling to fix the efficiency problem. And finally, tool use examples to solve that unwritten rules problem. Let's break down how they actually work. All right, first up, the tool search tool. This is so clever. Instead of cramming every single tool it might ever need onto that workbench, you give the AI, well, a magical librarian. Now, whenever the AI needs a tool, it just asks the librarian, who goes and fetches the exact one it needs, and only that one. And the difference this makes, it's just, wow. Look at this. Before, you might have to load over 55,000 tokens worth of tool manuals. Now, you load one search tool. Just one. And it's only about 500 tokens. Every other tool stays neatly on the library shelf until the moment it's needed. An 85% reduction. Just think about that. That is a huge amount of the AI's working memory that's now free to focus on, the actual task at hand. The memory problem? Pretty much solved. Okay, solution number 2. Programmatic tool calling. This one goes after that efficiency problem. Remember that slow, step-by-step conversation? Forget that. Now, the AI writes a complete recipe, a full plan for how to use a bunch of tools all at once to get a job done. So now the AI just writes a little script, a plan. That script goes off, calls all the tools, filters the data, does all the messy work itself. And what comes back to the AI? Only the final clean answer. No more chatter, no more data dumps, just the result. I mean, check out this budget example. The old way would have just buried the AI in over 2,000 lines of raw expense data. The new way? The AI just gets a simple message. Hey, these 3 people went over budget. We're talking about going from 200 kilobytes of noise down to just 1 kilobyte of signal. It's a game changer. And that brings us to our third and final solution, tool use examples. This is all about solving those tricky, unwritten rules. The best way to think about it is you wouldn't teach someone to cook by just handing them a list of ingredients, right? You'd show them the finished dish. That's what this does for the AI. And just by seeing a few good examples, the AI picks up on all that stuff that's never in the manual. Things like, oh, dates have to be in this specific format, or user IDs always need this USR prefix. It even learns context, like knowing a critical bug report needs way more detail than a simple to-do item. And does it work? Oh yeah, the results are just crystal clear. We're talking about a jump in accuracy on these really complex tasks from 72% all the way up to 90%. That's the difference between an AI that's just guessing and one that actually knows what it's doing. So what's really important to get here is that these aren't just three cool, separate features. They're designed to work together as a single system. It's all about something called intelligent orchestration. What you get in the end is this incredibly smart and efficient workflow. The AI finds the right tool with its librarian, it writes an efficient plan, a recipe to get the job done, and it already knows all the little unwritten rules for how to ask correctly. The whole chain is solved from start to finish. And that leaves us with a really big, exciting question. If we've just knocked down these huge fundamental bottlenecks, if AI can now find its own tools and write its own plans for how to use them, what are the really big problems we're going to ask it to solve next?